Hi, I'm David from thehelmetcenter.com, and today I'm going to do my real ride review of the Arai Defiant. This is a brand new model for 2013, and this model fits between the RXQ and the Corsair 5 in Arai's lineup. Like all Arais, it has a fiberglass composite shell that features a DOT and a Snell M2010 safety rating. On the inside, the liner is washable, replaceable, and antimicrobial, and features removable top liner, cheek pads, neck roll, and chin strap guards. For ventilation, there's a larger, improved chin port, Arai standard brow vents, two nice large ports on the top, on the rear of the helmet, as well as on the neck roll. This helmet in a size large weighs in at 3.75 pounds. The helmet price range is $620 to $750, depending on the color and graphic you choose, and carries Arai's standard 5-year warranty. If you have more technical questions, go to our product description page on our website, thehelmetcenter.com, and review those there. Since our reviews are more performance-based, let's get this thing out on the bike and see how it works. Welcome to thehelmetcenter.com's real ride review of the brand new Arai Defiant. I think the name's appropriate as they sent us this demo and specifically told me not to ride it, and here I am riding it. I couldn't help but want to see what this thing's all about. So we mic'd it up and here we are on the road. So let's talk a little bit about this helmet. But first let's talk about the overall fit and the shape and sizing. Alright, shape. First thing I'm going to point out is in the Arai lineup, they've got three different shapes. They've got a round, which I call M&M shape. They've got a peanut M&M, which is the intermediate oval, and then they've got what I call the Good and Plenty head shape, which is the long oval, typical of the profile in the Signet series. In the brochure, they listed this helmet as a intermediate oval, the peanut M&M in the middle that more and more of their helmets have been aiming towards. But I gotta say, I disagree with them on this one. Right before I put this helmet on the ride, I tried on the Vector 2, the Signet Q, the RXQ, and the Corsair 5. And by all means, this fit almost exactly like a Signet Q, a little more long oval, which for most of us is actually the correct shape for us. We get a little less forehead pressure. It's a little more of that long oval shape. Really helps us fit in a helmet for a comfortable long day ride. So I gotta say, I like the shape of this thing. It's very, very comfortable for me. As far as size, they sent me a large. Normally I would wear a medium, though I gotta say, in this large, this thing isn't moving a whole lot on me. It's just a tick looser than a Signet Q in the exact same size. If I put a large on in that one and then this one is about 5% bigger than the Signet Q, so it runs just a tick bigger than that one. However, overall, I think the Arai's run a little small. I'm a medium in all my Showies and even my Corsair 5. However, this one here, again, a large. I think this is what I would select in this one. I might just do thicker cheek pads. But so let's say the fit overall, in my opinion, a little more of the long oval, and just a little on the small side in compared to the industry as a whole. All right, let's talk about visibility. In true Arai fashion, the eye port is cut out really nice and wide, which makes it great for making lane changes. I'd say left to right here, I got at least 100 feet of visibility making a lane check here, so I got plenty of vision that way. In full tuck for you guys on sport bikes, plenty of vision here as well because Arai puts a nice tall eye port opening. You can do that when you have a fiberglass shell that's a little stronger. You can put a little larger eye port opening in it and not compromise the strength. One thing though, if you've never ridden an Arai before, you might not be used to these little brow ports here. When you get in full tuck like this, you do see those definitely in your peripheral vision, though once you get used to them, not a bad thing. I do notice just a little distortion across the top edge of the shield right here in full tuck. Again, again, I'm wearing a helmet that is technically not production helmet, so not exactly sure if this is a production shield or not, but let's say it is. I got just a little bit at the top, not enough to bug you. The rest of it's perfectly clear, but just at the very top. Now, this is also one of the pin lock shields, not a standard Arai shield, so maybe it has to do with something with the pin lock specific shield, which is standard on this helmet, by the way. All right, let's talk about the noise in this thing. I gotta say, it's actually pretty darn quiet. You know, it's by no means the quietest helmet I've ever ridden, but considering the ventilation is one of the best I've ever ridden, the noise doesn't really go along with the ventilation in this helmet. I think this nice long neck roller on the base here and these bigger cheek pads that have that curl to them really focus on keeping that air out and keeping the noise down, and it really works. I don't wear earplugs when I do these rides, though I normally do when I ride for pleasure, but when I do these rides I want to hear what the helmet's doing and hear the noise it's making so I can relate it to those of you who don't wear earplugs. And I gotta say, I'm doing about 65 miles an hour right now, so average highway speed, and I could wear this thing with no earplugs. It's actually pretty pleasant. Unusual for an Arai because they tend to be to the noisier side. Let's talk about the ventilation. Got a nice big improved chin vent here, nice large opening. When you click this thing open, I get quite a bit of wind right pretty much in my face, which feels real nice. Makes the helmet just a little noisier, but that's to be expected when you've got wind going through your helmet. Vents on the front here on the top. I got these guys all open right now as I'm riding. I got the brow vents, the standard Arai brow vents. I've got the forehead vents going here, and this thing moves a ton of air. If this thing isn't as good as my Corsair 5, it might even be just a tick better. I gotta say, for average street riding, I think it might actually be better. I would say this is probably my top 3 best venting helmets of all times, including the Bell Star for 2013. The difference in this one, in my opinion, is this one is a little quieter than the Star, but it's also, you know, $150, $200 more than the Star, so you would expect that. Alright, we'll talk about stability at speed here, once I get back up to speed. Alright, I've ridden this helmet a few times here, trying to get some realistic feedback on this, and I took it up to triple-digit speeds yesterday, and, you know, typical Arai, super nice and stable. You don't get a whole lot of wiggle on it. One nice thing about this new model here is you'll see there's an extra chin spoiler on this thing, a diffuser, if you will, that's really designed to help keep the wind from going up under the helmet and causing a lot of turbulence and noise. And I gotta say, it really works pretty well. It keeps this helmet nice and stable at any speed I've been at so far. Again, right now I'm doing about 65, and I mean, this thing's rock solid. Overall, I gotta say, this is probably my new favorite helmet in the Arai lineup. As long as you can find a graphic you like or a solid car you like and you can afford the money, I gotta be honest, this is probably the one I would pick even over my Corsair. I think it fits me real well, and vents a little better in real world conditions than my Corsair or my X12. So anyways, that concludes the HelmetCenter.com's Real Ride review of the brand new Arai Defiant.